What's up, Shiny Now crew? Get ready for a massive news update starting with Donald Trump's incredible state visit to the United Kingdom. We're talking about a state banquet at Windsor Castle, where Donald Trump and King Charles didn't just shake hands, they exchanged some seriously noteworthy speeches. This is huge. But the drama doesn't stop there. We're going to break down exactly how Donald Trump's speech stacked up against King Charles's, revealing some surprising differences and maybe even some subtle political moves. You won't believe the contrast. And speaking of surprises, get ready to be amazed by the unexpected, heartwarming connection between Melania Trump and King Charles III. We're talking about a friendship that goes way back, built on more than just royal protocol. You'll want to hear this. Finally, we're going back to that unforgettable state banquet at Windsor Castle for a full recap of everything that went down between Donald Trump and King Charles. This is a state visit for the history books. Make sure you're subscribed and have that notification bell on so you never miss an update. The royal treatment, Trump and King Charles's Windsor banquet exchange. Donald Trump's state visit to the United Kingdom kicked off with a spectacular display of diplomacy and flattery at a grand banquet in Windsor Castle. The event saw President Trump and King Charles III engaging in a notable exchange of speeches, each aiming to highlight the enduring, special relationship between their nations. King Charles spoke of shared values and the historical fight against tyranny, subtly referencing the ongoing conflict in Ukraine and emphasizing the unified stance of the US and UK with their allies. He also touched upon their shared commitment to environmental causes and the preservation of nature. Donald Trump, in his address, lauded the foundations laid by the British Empire, emphasizing law, liberty, and free speech, and boasted about his administration's economic successes, declaring the U.S. the hottest country in the world. He also paid compliments to the king and the royal family, particularly noting Princess Catherine as so radiant and so healthy and so beautiful. The banquet itself was a lavish affair, featuring a menu of exquisite dishes and specially curated wines and cocktails, including a unique transatlantic whiskey sour created in honor of Trump's presidency. However, the day wasn't without controversy, as thousands of anti-Trump protesters marched in London, and images of Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were projected onto Windsor Castle in a provocative display. Audience impact. Online discussions buzzed with reactions to the speeches, with many noting the contrast in tone and subject matter. While some praised the diplomatic courtesies, others focused on the protests and the controversial imagery projected onto the castle. Don't go anywhere, because the diplomatic dance between these two leaders had even more surprising layers. Next up, we're dissecting the subtle, yet significant, differences in their speeches that reveal a fascinating political subtext. Speeches and subtext, Trump versus King Charles at the banquet. The state banquet honoring Donald Trump's visit to the UK became a stage for two distinct oratorical styles, highlighting a fascinating contrast between President Trump and King Charles III. Both leaders delivered speeches of similar length, filled with warm sentiments about the US-UK special relationship. However, their approaches to contemporary issues diverged significantly. King Charles directly addressed the tyranny threatening Europe, explicitly mentioning the support for Ukraine against aggression, aligning Britain's stance with its allies. In contrast, Donald Trump's speech notably omitted any mention of the Ukraine war, instead focusing on economic achievements and historical praise for the British Empire. While Charles emphasized shared values and environmental preservation, Trump highlighted American ingenuity and his administration's successes. Observers widely viewed the visit, orchestrated partly at Prime Minister Keir Starmer's urging, as an attempt to influence Trump's perspective on key global issues, making the content of their speeches a crucial point of analysis for signs of common ground or divergence. Audience impact. Analysts and viewers closely compared the speeches, with many pointing out Trump's omission of Ukraine as a key takeaway, while others debated the effectiveness of the diplomatic overtures. But the relationship between the Trumps and the royal family goes deeper than state dinners and diplomatic speeches. Get ready to discover a surprisingly personal connection that's captured the public's imagination. An unlikely pen pal, Melania Trump and King Charles's secret friendship. Melania Trump stole the spotlight during the state visit, not just for her presence, but for a surprisingly warm and personal interaction with King Charles III that has the internet buzzing. Known for her typically reserved public demeanor, the former First Lady broke into a radiant smile upon seeing the king, extending a handshake that lingered longer than expected. This display of warmth hinted at a deeper connection, which Melania herself revealed in her 2024 memoir. She detailed a long-standing friendship with King Charles, initiated by a chance meeting in New York in 2005 and maintained through handwritten letters. Their shared interests in architecture, gardening, and environmental causes have fostered this unique bond, which continued even during the Trumps' 2019 state visit when Charles invited them for tea to discuss climate change. The visible warmth and easy conversation between Melania and the king at the Windsor Banquet showcased a moment of genuine connection, offering a glimpse into soft diplomacy built on personal rapport and shared passions, surprising many who were unaware of their history. Audience impact. Royal watchers and political observers alike were captivated by the unexpected friendship, sparking widespread discussion about the personal relationships that can underpin international diplomacy. This state visit was packed with moments that made headlines, from royal greetings to political statements. Now, let's get you the full picture of that historic banquet and all the key exchanges that took place. Windsor Banquet Breakdown: Trump and King Charles's historic exchange. The much-anticipated state banquet at Windsor Castle marked a significant moment in US-UK relations, bringing together Donald Trump and King Charles III for a formal evening filled with speeches, diplomacy, and royal protocol. The event, attended by Queen Camilla and First Lady Melania Trump, saw both leaders deliver addresses that underscored the historical ties between the two nations. King Charles highlighted their shared history, including joint efforts in global conflicts and a mutual commitment to environmental preservation, while also making lighthearted references to shared roots and American ingenuity. Donald Trump reciprocated with praise for the British Empire's contributions to law and liberty, and spoke optimistically about the current state of the U.S. under his leadership. He also offered compliments to the royal family, specifically praising Princess Catherine. The banquet's menu was as grand as the occasion, featuring a multi-course meal paired with fine wines and a specially crafted cocktail. Despite the celebratory atmosphere, the visit was underscored by protests in London and a controversial projection on Windsor Castle, adding layers of complexity to the diplomatic engagement. Audience impact. The banquet was a focal point for media coverage, with reactions ranging from appreciation for the traditional pomp to commentary on the political undertones and the juxtaposition of the formal event with public dissent. That's a wrap on our top stories today, but we've got one last quick look back at the highlights. Stick around for a lightning round recap and your full call to action. And that's a wrap on today's incredible news roundup. We saw Donald Trump and King Charles exchanging flattering words at a grand Windsor Castle banquet. Then, we broke down the striking differences between their speeches, revealing subtle diplomatic nuances. We also uncovered the surprising, long-standing friendship between Melania Trump and King Charles, built on years of correspondence. And finally, we gave you the full recap of that historic royal banquet. If you loved this deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe to Shiny Now for more exclusive updates, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out. Plus, follow us on all our socials and let us know in the comments which story you found most fascinating.